8 different test modules. So there will be 8 parts of it. The first one is very simple. It's called contact, and what we want to see is when the dog with its owner, its handler, meets a very friendly, non-aggressive person, how will the dog react? Will it take the contact to the person? Will it do this in a very energetic way, or on the other hand, will there be some aggression in this? So the first part is to measure, is the dog friendly, or will there be some aggression in it? It's the first test model. The second test model is what we call handling. The friendly person that the dog just have met takes the dog in the leash and go away about 30 meters. And what we measure, will the dog follow this friendly person which he just has met? And at the end of the 30 meters, the test leader who's going with the dog takes contact to the dog, touches it, he lifts his ears, talking friendly to it, and deeping out the contact, and see, will the dog accept this? Most dogs accept this in a friendly manner, but some would say, oh, don't do that to me. And even some could be aggressive and say, oh no, don't touch me at all, then I will do something to you. And there is 5 parts in the assessment scheme where you can see, is it friendly or is it something else? So that is the second part, handling the dog, a friendly person which has met. The next part is where we measure 2 things, play and grip. When the dog and the test leader comes back from the 30 meters they have been at, the handler starts playing with a towel. He throws it to each other, and what we want to see, will the dog participate when we are playing with it? We throw it away, and we see how will the dog grab in this one. And this is a very important thing to do, because if you want to use the dog for IPG or something like that, but also many other things, does the dog want to take the full grip on this and carry a thing? It's a very heritage thing. So this is what we measure. So will it play together, and how does it grab? This is and very. It looks simple, but it is a very important thing to measure. The next thing is the hunting ability. You could say, what should we use hunting ability? Not many people goes hunting and things like that now. So what it is a heritage behavior, and it's a drive in the dog. Hunting is a behavior and a drive which is heritage, and it is used for really many things. You see how active the dog is. Hunting is running after, catching, and to be a bit rough, killing. But these are the 3 things in it. And if you train with your dog and you do things with your dog, it's very nice to have some hunting abilities in it, because it can grab, it can run, and you can use this for motivation. When you throw a ball and dogs run after it and take it, it's hunting ability. And if you like to have a dog who can do things like that, and you can also use it for playing with the dog, distracting the dog. So we have in this test model a small tower running in jigsaw down here, and now we see, will the dog run after it and will it catch it? The next thing is what we call surprise. It's the thing, the dog walks towards the thing, and it comes up in front of it 4 meters before it. And this is not a threatening thing. Absolutely. It's a surprising thing. So it is a thing the dog could meet in its everyday. It could meet it in town. It could meet it where it lives. So the only thing we want to see is how does the dog react when it meets something surprising. And you can have several reactions. A few will be very angry, but that is not very often because it isn't very threatening. And some will be very frightened. This is not either very often, but most would say, oh, what comes up here, have a reaction, just stop a bit and see, oh, it's just something, and then go and investigate it. And then we will measure after that how fast the reaction disappears again. So, and the next one we have is the what do we call it in English? Activity model. It's a funny thing to call it activity because the only thing the dog and the handler does is to stay at the same place in 3 minutes. But what we really measure is if nothing happens, what will the dog then do? Will it lay down and do absolutely nothing? Or will it, on the contrary, say, okay, we have just been working with some hunting drive and I'm sitting here and you're standing there, he says to his owner, and then he's watching the surroundings and say what goes on here. It might be a very natural thing to do. But not all dogs react like that, and I should say it depends very much on the breed. But if you go into Rottweilers, you also will see dogs who has a high activity level will say, oh, here is nothing going on. Oh, let's see if we can make something happen. And it could happen in many ways. It could jump to its owner, it could begin barking, it could begin biting in the grass and things like that. And the more often it changes activity just to have something to happen, you will have a higher activity level. And I think most of you could imagine that a too high activity level is no good, because too high activity will mean that the dog can never be still. So a level around where it's observing what's going on would be a very correct level for a normal dog. The next thing we have is a long sound. The dog passing by, and there would be a rather long sound, not very loud, but very long, just to see how does it react. You can say, why would we like to test that? Oh yes, because the dog could meet things like that everywhere. It could meet it in the city, it could be a bus, it could be a truck, It could be a train, it could be at a construction place or something else. And imagine if it gets very stressed of this, very frightened of this, and such a dog should live in a city where there is a lot of noise. How do you think it would have it? It would not be good for that dog. That is why we call it mental health. So a mental healthy dog will not be too scared of this, and if it gets a bit scared, it will forget it very quickly. And this is why we are measuring a thing like this, because we want to have healthy dogs. Only healthy dogs can react normally in a family, normally in a training situation, normally in any other situation. If it goes around all the times and is scared of something and stressed of something, you won't have a normal reaction in the normal life. So that is why we're testing this. The next thing is that we have a test model which try to figure out will this dog, what will this dog do if anybody comes into your own area? It is not a frightening, it is not a fight test or something like that. But when the dog feels threatened a little bit, and we have two white figures coming into closer into the dog, normally the dog will start barking and say, "Hoo hoo, what are you? What are you? What is coming?" And they keep coming. Then it maybe says, "Ah, whoa, whoa, whoa. If you come closer, I will be very angry." So the things we want to see about this, what happens when the dog is threatened? Will it fly? Will it be very aggressive? Or will it do something else? Or will it just say, "Oh, okay." And this test model, the two figures stops 4 meters before the dog, so they don't come to this point where it will have to attack them or do something else, and then they passivate totally, and now you see two white passive things. And most dogs say, "Oh, yeah, you stop there and I am here," and then they go and investigate it. Why do we have this test? Mainly because we want to see in situations where there is a little bit of threat, and people and dogs meet threats, other dogs, people who look strange and things like that, will it react with aggression? Because if it reacts with too much aggression, this is not to be wanted, because our dogs has to live in society, and if the smallest threat will release aggression, it's a problem with the dog and the society. So this is why we are measuring. And remember what I said. This is heritage, and if you take out the dogs of breeding, which is very aggressive, you will very soon, maybe over years, lower the aggression in the dogs, and they will be more suited for the society. That we have done in Denmark, for example. Over a long period, we have lowered the aggression in Rottweilers so much that we came off the government's ban list by doing this. And then you say, if you don't have aggression, can a dog do IPG? Can it bite a sleeve? Can you use it for training? Absolutely. Aggression is the smallest part of this. And now you maybe remember what I told you earlier about one of the test models, the hunting ability. If you look into IPG program and see when a dog runs after, bite in the sleeve and do that, you could as easily train that with the hunting ability, all without aggression, because you have everything for biting the sleeve in the hunting, running after, bite and hold. So we don't need aggression for things, neither in training or neither in the normal day life. The final test model is a very sharp sound. Normally we use a pistol because it's so difficult to replicate a very sharp sound. But we know that sharp sounds is difficult for many dogs and for many breeds. It could be a sharp sound from fireworks. It could be something dropping or things like that. It could be a thunderstorm somewhere, and some of the dogs get so frightened that they are not mentally well in this situation, and that's why we're trying to avoid it. So if they are very afraid of sharp sounds, they shouldn't be in the breed, because they will breed not healthy dog who is scared many times, and it is no good for the dog, and this is no good for the owner either. So this was the last of the 8 test models. First, mentality matters because it gives a mental healthy dog. And then the second thing is mentality is heritage. So you can measure it, you can control it, and you can use it in the breed. And what we have done in Scandinavia about mentality is that we have some specific models, test models, which we know is very heritage, and we are testing all our dogs in this mentality. In Denmark, for a special thing, all Rottweilers had to go to mental tests, and they had to pass this one to have pedigrees in their puppies. So in this way we are using it. It's not a very difficult test, so don't be afraid of it. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's the same dog you get back, you know a bit more, and it's not difficult at all. It's nothing you can train, so you don't have to train. We just see what's inside the dog. So it helps you, it helps the dog, and it helps you if you're going to breed with your dog later. Oh, I love going to China. It's a very nice country. You know, when I go here, I always meet a lot of smiling and very interesting people, and it gives me a lot of energy. So it's very nice to go here in that way. Yeah, I think Chinese food is something of the best, and it's nice to have it here in its home country, because it's even better here than it is when you get it at home or anywhere else. And I think it's a pleasure eating the Chinese food. Both the special dishes, but also the very normal one, and those lunches in boxes are not bad either. So I like Chinese food very, very much.